Intelligent people do not assume to know what will make them truly happy. We can't just assume that we know what is going to make us happy. We can't just assume that getting that job or signing that client or dating that person or getting married or moving to that place or looking that way is going to be it. At one point, Christmas made a lot of us more happy than it does now. At one point, a birthday party made us feel a lot more happy than it does now. If money made you happy when you were broke, the same amount of money is not going to make you happy when you're rich. Emotionally intelligent people do not assume being fearful is a sign that they are on the wrong path. A sign that you're on the wrong path is indifference. If you are fearful about something, that is not a sign that you're on the wrong path. You're being pushed towards something. That's intention. Who knows if it always will be the right thing? What we do know is that you're on the right path. It might not lead to exactly where you want, but you're going into a direction you know you need to go into. They know that happiness is a choice, but do not feel they need to make that choice all the time. Happiness is not a sustained state of joy. Being happy is moment by moment. If you were only experiencing one emotion all the time, then that's not living. You're not living. You're just in existence. Living the human experience means that you experience all the emotions. And you should allow yourself to say, I'm not in a happy state right now. Emotionally intelligent people know that a feeling will not kill them. You're not going to die because you're angry. You're only going to die if you start doing stupid things because you're angry. Emotionally intelligent people do not confuse a bad feeling for a bad life. When you fight the bad feeling, when you fight the bad day, that is anything but peaceful. If you just come to grips with this is just not a good day for me. It's not my day. I got bad news. I lost a client. Somebody hit the back of my car on the way to the gym, and I just want to go home, go to sleep, and start this one over tomorrow. That's part of life. If I'm fighting against that bad day, if I'm fighting against that bad feeling, I'm causing war within myself. You're able to have peace when you just accept it. This is a bad stretch of life, or this is a bad day, or this is a bad week. These are bad feelings. But this doesn't make it a bad life.
We're live.
Live and alive. Ole, come in. Ole, come in this morning. How we doing, see?
We're doing great, Jay. How are you doing?
I'm tired. I feel like I live in this office.
Oh boy, yeah. I know what you
I
mean.
have bad sleep. I had bad sleep last night, man. You know those nights where you're like, you go to sleep and everything's great. Then you wake up in the middle of the night, you can't go back to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happened. I woke up at like midnight and I couldn't fall asleep back until like 2, 3 in the morning,
That's
which only
crazy.
left me like an hour and a half left to sleep. So
And for me, it's like, all right, when I went to bed, closed my eyes, then when I woke up, it was time to start work, and but it felt like I didn't even sleep. It felt like I didn't even close my eyes. It's
well,
crazy.
we call it good morning for a reason because the morning is good. The
Yeah,
morning is good. The morning is
you,
very, very good.
you
So
live
shout out
to
to
one.
Special K, shout out to Aretha, shout out to Codex. Good morning, conversations with Jay, moderators, and the wing column team as well. And everybody else is joining us this morning.
Special K says she likes that the video, the one about emotional intelligence.
Oh yes, yes. We have to do some more videos like that. We just haven't had time to like chop them up and like cut them down, but we have a ton of footage that's just sitting there waiting. So we will bring that this fourth quarter.
Yeah. Um I have a question that I want to ask you, Jay, and you can tell me what you think. Um so
We always have a question every morning. I look like a
I
wizard.
know, right? It's questions that, that's designed to get people thinking, or like, questions that people might have as well but never really asked. Um
Well, for this question, you answer it first because every morning you ask me a question, then you ask for my answer. I want to hear your answer first.
okay. So the question is, do you think most people actually know why they do what they do, are we just moving through life on autopilot? And I know the reason, well, I thought about this question because I've had conversations and I've had people ask me like, "Oh, why do you do this or why do you do that?" And when I try to think about it, it's like I can't find a reason. You know what I mean? So I feel like in a lot of cases people really don't know why they do what they do. But if you were to try and dissect it, there would be an explanation for everything. But in the moment that people do things that they genuinely didn't think about it, and they don't know why they did it. What do you
Yeah,
think?
when you say why they do what they do, you mean like what they do on a regular basis, or do you just mean like everyday decisions? Like, I mean,
Everyday
like, why do you
decisions.
go to work? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I would say everyday decisions. It could really be anything, to be honest.
All right, what's your answer?
Yeah, I gave it already. I said I genuinely feel like people don't know what they do, know why they do the things they do half the time. They just
Yeah,
do it.
I think that there's two sides to it. Good morning. Um, we have good morning, Sherry. Good morning, Maria. Good morning, Mike. Good morning, Christina. You know, I do, from what I see, I'm not going to really give you like my opinion for me personally, because who knows why I do what I do. I'm joking. I'm on a mission. That's why I do what I do. But from my experience, and the reason why I'm saying my experience is because I coach so many businesses, and because I've had so much experience hearing people's, whys, as we say, why do you wake up in the morning? Why do you even have this company? Why do you have this job? Why are you in this relationship? What is it? What is it doing to serve your ultimate goals? Stuff like that. I have the conversations a lot, and most of the time people know the general reason why they do what they do. But one thing I think that people don't do a lot of is reevaluate reevaluate whether the why is still worth it, or whether that why is still as strong as it once was. So sometimes it's not as strong. It's still worth it, just as much, just as worth it, but it's not as strong as it once was. And sometimes that why really just isn't worth it. Now you've actually changed, and you didn't even realize as you went through life, you've changed your values, you've changed the things that you actually even give a damn about. And maybe now you don't care about the things that you used to that supported that why. So I saw Special K right in there that she gives a lot of thought, maybe even too much, to everything. And that's part of the other end of it, where sometimes you could overthink things as well. And remember, guys, what is overthinking? Overthinking is literally just the art of making up problems that don't exist. So I guess that's my long answer. The short answer is, I think that everybody does really um I think everybody does really know why they're doing it in a general sense, but I don't think that everybody always audits the reason why they're doing things. So,
I
um,
like that.
yeah, I mean, that leads me to like kind of what we were going to talk about today, because I was reading the book Fierce Conversations this morning. Fierce Conversations is a great book. See, just look it up and drop the author. I forgot her name. It's just briefly escaped me. I think it's Susan something. Um, but we also went through this book in the summer, in around August,
Susan
and
Scott.
the pardon me.
Susan Scott.
Susan Scott, yes, Susan Scott. We also went through this book in August a little bit, and then I told you guys I'd come back to it, so we're coming back to it again. And the idea of the book is that we are only where we are right now, wherever you are in your life. You're only there because you had one conversation at a time. Like, you had a conversation that got you to wherever you are. Everything started with a conversation, even if it was just a conversation with yourself. No matter if it's the business that you have, or the job that you work at, or the thing that you're studying in school, or the person that you're dating, or the person that you're married to, these all started with conversations, right? And it's one conversation at a time. and it puts the emphasis on how important it is to have these conversations. And on a whole, a lot of times conversations are hard to have. And that's why the book is called Fierce Conversations, which is talking about not only having the conversations that are hard to have, but it's also talking about really having the highest, most optimal conversations that you can have. So no wasted conversations, no conversations in which you didn't learn something from the other person, no conversations in which you're leaving without action items or at least a general understanding of how to move next. No conversations in which you feel like you left and that person, like you didn't give them the information that they need. No conversations like that. We have fierce conversations. And so the book breaks down not only how to have the conversations that could at times be uncomfortable, but also how to have these conversations that are going to be optimal. And it does a great job of doing that. I think some of the chapters are long-winded, but it does get the message across, and it does give you, specific action items in which you can apply to your own life to have these conversations. It also tells you the importance of having this conversation, because a lot of these times we don't realize how important these types of conversations are. Now, just before I get into what I was reading today, one of the core ideas in this book in the beginning to set the tone was the beach ball effect. That's the beach ball approach. So if you've ever seen a beach ball, it has multiple colors. We put the beach ball up back in August on the screen. But just imagine a beach ball has like a red stripe and a white stripe and a blue stripe and a yellow stripe and so on and so forth. The thing is, we only, from where we're standing in our perspective, we see the color stripe that we see. Maybe we see two color stripes side by side. But the thing is, whatever color's on the other side, we aren't able to see that because we are living our lives through our own experiences, which gives us a unique perspective. And so when we have this unique perspective, although it's great that we all have unique perspectives, it doesn't necessarily always give us the easy path to understand and see perspectives from the other side of the beach ball, which would be somebody else's perspective who's standing around the other side of that beach ball. And so the only way you would be able to see that perspective is through conversation. Last week, we were talking about the book, The Laws of Human Nature. And we were breaking down some of the things in that book. We talked about empathy a lot last week, and we had 2 videos on that last week. So if you didn't get a chance to see it, go and check it out. But the point is that those two videos on empathy really align with what the beach ball effect is, right? Because we don't have that perspective or understand that perspective, which would be empathy, right, without having the conversation. And if you tie it actually to Robert Greene's theory from last week that we were talking about, he believes that there is such a lack of empathy in the world because we're not actually out in the real world having conversations, being a part of communities and hearing other people's thoughts and values and other people's perspectives as much as we used to. And a lot of times we're just keeping to ourselves. We're just, it's easier than ever to just binge watch a show and just be on our own a lot instead of interacting with other people in the world, which is another reason why we have this community that we have here. And it allows you guys to hear other people's opinions, other people's perspectives. And that's really what leadership is all about as well. Well, one of the things I should say. So now that we have the premise of the book, I want to get into today, what I was reading today. Okay. Today was talking about, in order to have fierce conversations, there's a lot of things. You have to be brave. You have to have the confidence. You have to know that that conversation is going to give you insight to that other person's perspective, blah, blah, blah. But another thing it says is that having fierce conversations means obeying your instincts in the conversation. Okay. So you recall a moment in your life? Have you ever recalled a moment in your life? Just put a 1 in the chat if this is you. You've recalled a moment in your life where you knew it would happen before it did? Like you knew before you actually knew before it actually happened, right? Has that ever happened to anybody? Put a 1 in the chat. Codex, that has happened to you. No, it's happened to me a lot, but I know it's happened to a lot of people because of your life experience. The way your life experience is, it changes the software. Maybe that's not your wiring, but your software gets changed over time, right? Angela, good morning, says all the time, says all the time. You just have this instinct. You just kind of know. And this is for me, this is a really touchy subject for me. And the reason why it's a touchy subject for me, and it was challenging to read this chapter today, which I actually did. It's a really long chapter, so I didn't actually get a chance to finish it. Excuse me, I'll finish it tomorrow. But the reason why it was a little bit challenging is I don't always trust my instincts, and I also don't trust other people's instincts. And it's because so many times people have thought something and that was their instinct, and I could see that they were totally wrong, or they made an assumption about me based on the instinct that they had, and I could tell that the way they were acting, and then they and I've been told many times, like, oh, I thought you were a jerk. That wasn't the word that was used. It was a word that we usually use to describe your backside. But there's a lot of people who have told me, I thought you were a jerk, and then I talked to you and I got to know you. You're a really cool and really genuine person. So it sometimes it's proven wrong, but it's very important. The way she describes instinct in this is bang on. The reason why we know instinct is real is because we could actually feel it, right? So you've ever had the hairs crawl on the back of your neck? I'm going to give you a couple examples of what I wrote down that has been real in my life. You ever feel that the hairs stand up at the back of your neck? You know something's happening. It's like your spidey sense is tingling, right? And with that, we have to instinctivly make the right decision right away. So you make a right or wrong decision by making the left or the right. I know that's a word play, but you go to the left, you go to the right, you make the right or wrong decision. The interesting thing is, usually when it really truly is instincts and not your own internal bias, you make the decision so quickly and you make the right one. You make the right one, because that's how you could really recognize the instinct. You make the decision quickly and you make the right one. Okay. And sometimes we will never know if it was the right or wrong decision, because we can't tell what would have happened if we made the other decision, but we trust ourselves anyways. Okay. And so here are some examples of how we know that this gut feeling, this instinct is real. All right, I wrote down a couple examples. Example number one, right? Have you ever been on a roller coaster and looked down? If you've been on the roller coaster, when it goes to the top and before that drop, if you've ever looked down and you felt butterflies in your stomach, you felt a feeling in your gut, well, that goes to show you that gut feeling actually is real. Your gut is literally wired to your brain, right? So if you are in a high rise and it's a really low balcony, like I've sold real estate for a long time. I've been in high rises that like 55 floors, and I'm a pretty tall person. I'm 6'3", not huge, but I'm taller than the average person. And some of these balconies, they're low. And I'm like on a 53rd floor, and I'm looking over. I'm like, I could trip and fall over this balcony right now. Like, that's how I feel. And you feel that not gut weird feeling in your stomach, like butterflies. That goes to show you that that's instinct, right? If you're seeing something, or you're hearing something, or one of the other senses are working, smelling something, hearing something, seeing something, right? Feeling something, and then you all of a sudden have a feeling in your gut, it shows you that instinct is real. The example that she uses in the book is a funny one. She says, for example, remember the last time you looked at your credit card bill after the holidays and got that gut feeling, that kind of my gut turning in my stomach when you realize how much money you owe Amex, right? So, excuse me. That was a funny example that I thought that she gave. But the point here is, oftentimes we will know. And I'll give you an example of a time that I knew, and actually my brother also knew at the same time. In a second. So there was a engagement party from somebody we both knew here in New York, and we went to it. We knew the woman, but we didn't know the person, the guy she was getting engaged to. And we all went. It was a great party, amazing party. We throw great parties. Excuse me. And I met the guy for the first time, and I shook his hand, and hey, how you doing? I'm Jay. Okay, great to meet you. Congratulations, so on and so forth. And my brother was beside me, and he also met the guy. Same thing. Hey, how you doing? Great to meet you, so on and so forth. As soon as we walked away from meeting him, I turned to my brother and I said, I don't have a good feeling about this guy. And my brother's like, I was about to say the same thing. It's like, there's something with it. I don't know, but my instinct, my gut is just telling me that this is not the greatest guy in the world. And that was it. That was the conversation we had. That was all. Okay. It's his engagement party, so I don't fault him for, maybe overdoing it a little bit too much on the alcohol. But that's what he did. He ended up having throwing up in the bathroom and his friends carrying him. But young guy, you're getting engaged, your family's here, I let it slide. It is what it is. It's a little bit embarrassing, but you're celebrating and everybody wants to take shots with you, right? So I let it slide. Come 6 months later, let's fast forward 6 months later. Wedding's off. Find out that he had a whole nother relationship with a woman that his fiance worked with. Yes, you heard that correctly. Whole nother relationship with a woman that his fiance worked with. And so he was dating two chicks at the same time, and they both worked in the same place. And I was like, I always knew I didn't have a good feeling about this guy. There's just something about him. And I don't know what it was. To this day, I can't tell you what it was. And I could be wrong. Maybe it was just a fluke. But that is an example of something that and now God bless her. She recently actually got married to the love of her life, to a real great guy that she deserves. But my point is, that is an example of me, an instinct that I've had. And my brother shared the same thing. So, we're obviously share the same DNA. So maybe it could be the way we're wired. We also grew up in the same house. So maybe it could be the way we were raised. Who knows? Maybe it could be our life experiences. Who knows what triggered that instinct, but something did. So why am I spending all this time talking about instinct as it pertains to these conversations? Well, it's because when you're speaking to people and you want to have the best, most optimal, most fierce conversation you can have, so that you guys both leave this conversation doing the right things, saying the right things, better people than you were before, more understanding, clear action, a clear action plan, feeling happy, feeling heard, all of those things. You have to listen to your instinct during the conversation. You can't just listen to the words that are being said. Again, Robert Greene talked about this in the book that we were talking about last week, Laws of Human Nature, where there's the communication behind the communication. There's the covert communication. There's the unseen communication that's happening in body language, tone, things like that. And what she describes this as, she says, even in a conversation, she gave an example of a scammer, and a conversation with a scammer. And she said, even in that conversation, and I actually had the same thing. I had a scammer call me and tell me I owed back taxes and tell me I was going to get arrested. And this was so long ago, but I didn't really know much about taxes at that time. So at first I was like, oh, did I file is it because I didn't file my taxes on time? I really didn't know anything about it. And I was like, you know what? Someone's telling me this is a scam. So then I started asking questions and playing along, and I could see that it was a scammer. And then I played the game until I made him feel like, oh shoot, he caught me, and he hung up. But my point is, she's talking about the same thing. She says that you have to listen to the emotion. You have to listen to the intent behind the words that they're saying. You have to listen to the undercurrent of the conversation. She says, when speaking with someone, you also have to listen to your private thoughts, not just the public thoughts that you actually say, the things that you're thinking in your head while they're speaking. So somebody might be speaking to you, and you also have to say, yeah, I can see that they're saying this, that everything is going to be all right, but I can read their face, I can see their tone, I have an instinct that they're just trying to downplay it. They don't want, God bless my uncle's family. He's passed away. He's with the Lord now. And when he passed away from a heart attack, and when his wife had called my mother to say, hey, there's nothing really huge, but I just want to let you guys know that he was having a little issues, and he's going to the hospital now, and I have him in the hospital, and they just might have to do a minor procedure. She tried to downplay it as much as she could. She tried to really downplay it as much as she could, that he was being rushed to the hospital to have an emergency surgery, which obviously he didn't make it. And immediately my mother was like, no, she's lying. She's trying to downplay it. She doesn't want to freak us out. But I could tell there's something wrong with my brother. Like, I know there's something wrong with my brother. And it's serious. And so my point is that you have to read those parts, and that conversation you're having in your mind, the private conversation, when that person is talking, you also have to listen to those instincts, because it's not for nothing. It's not like all this is just telling you, like, oh, you're hearing all these thoughts, and you're thinking these things and you're feeling these things for nothing, right? If you could tell when a person sits you down to talk to you how serious or unserious the conversation is. It's very rare that you're going to sit down and talk to you, and all of a sudden, boom, this came out of left field. I never expected it, right? You could tell by the tone and everything in their voice. I remember when I left my first real estate, I was probably around 22 years old or something like that. And I remember when I left the team, when I called them, I was like, hey guys, can we meet? And I tried to be like, hey guys, can we meet? There's two brothers. And they're like, yeah, when do you want to meet? And I was like, can we meet this afternoon? They're like, how about noon? It's like, okay, great. Soon as I saw them, they said, we know what this is about. I thought I was hiding it. I was like jovial on the phone. I was like, hey, can we meet? I try to be regular, try to be normal. And I was like, you guys know? And they're like, yeah, you're leaving the team, aren't you? And I was like, how did you know? But it's instinct. It's hard to hide it from people, right? And so you, excuse me, in order to have these fierce conversations, you have to trust those instincts. You have to really, really not suppress it, not say, you know what, I'm going to, my gut is telling me X, Y, and Z, and I'm just going to give them the benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to listen to them, and I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. And just because, they said nothing's wrong and they're good, I'm going to believe them. That's not always the way to go. And as a matter of fact, according to what Susan is saying in this book, Susan Scott is saying in this book, that's not how you have a fierce conversation. You may not say it to them, but when you walk away from that conversation, know that they might not have told you everything if your gut is telling you something else, if your instincts are telling you something else. Don't let them say everything's great and then you just believe it. When you can feel that everything's not great, and vice versa. And this happens a lot in business relationships, and this happens a lot in romantic relationships. Those two relationships, friendships, not as much, but it does happen. And, family relationships, it does happen, but not as much. But in business relationships and romantic relationships, it happens a lot where we're told everything is okay, I'm all right, everything's fine. And the next thing you know, you have your business partner like filing to open another company behind your back. Like, you know what I mean? It's never happened to me, so I don't want you guys to think that that's my story. But next thing you know, that's what happens, right? Actually, that's happened to me with a person that worked with me. I had a person work for me for 7 straight years, and like everything fine, everything good, blah blah blah. Next thing you know, disappeared, quit like the next week, no notice. After telling me everything was good, I'm happy here, all that, quit. No notice next week after 7 years, right? So you have to go with your gut. You have to believe it. You don't have to always act on it, and you don't always have to You don't always have to say it out loud. Like, I know everything's not okay. You don't have to do that. But keep in your mind and understand that your mind, your body, your soul, your spirit is speaking to you, and you need to listen. Okay. And so that's what it was about today, obeying your instincts in order to have the most optimal, fierce conversations that you possibly can. Remember, everything in your life, it all starts with a conversation. Everything happens because of the conversations you have. So make sure that you're having fierce ones. All right, y'all. I will see you tomorrow morning. Go and be great, because greatness is a choice. It's a choice that you make every moment of every day. I will see you guys tomorrow morning.
Right now, me feeling high like a helicopter, spin out your rags in the air like a chopper. Hennessy punching Johnny Walker, somebody tell the police they just can't stop us. Like a helicopter, spin out your rags in the air like a chopper. Hennessy punching Johnny Walker, somebody tell the police they just can't stop us. Oh, when me choppers them, oh, when me choppers them, oh, when me choppers them, oh, when me choppers them. Rags to me, flags to me, rags to me, flags to me, rags to me, flags to me. Yo, spin your rags in the air like a chopper, wave your rags like a helicopter, spin out your rags in the air like a chopper, round and round like a helicopter, spin your rags in the air like a chopper, wave your rags like a helicopter, spin your rags in the air like a chopper. High choppers fly, helicopters we drunk cause we drink like a fish in the water. So high is like the world spinning faster, dripping with sweat but it don't really matter. The music making me ball out. We see ladies and we call out, them girls and them whining all out. Look a fight in the back, them brawl out. What? Me no business about that. Girls on me mind, so me thinking about that. Woman in the place, so me hunting for that. Bumpers in me face, so me on the attack. Just give me Henny, yo, give me Stag. No racial thing, white oak, Johnny Black. Oh gosh, I could catch a jet lag. 1919 does have me feeling high like a helicopter, spin out your rags in the air like a chopper. Hennessy punching Johnny Walker, somebody tell the police they just can't stop us.